All right, introduce yourself real quick. Say your shit in
Yo,
this shit.
what, Simply Faded, Big Smoker, Mr. Blunt.
We got Mr. Blunt in this shit. Simply Faded, live right here. I'm introducing this shit. Episode, I don't even know, but we're about to just get it off right here. Let's get it going. All right, T. What were you saying in this shit before?
Bro, I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, in 80 years, which is a long time, but it's not a long time. It's not even a full,
Talk to him.
century, bro. Like in 80 years, it's going to be 2105, bro. In 80 years. It's
gonna be 2105.
If I had a kid at 2105, because we're at 2020 right now.
Fuck,
So
bro, that's
80 more
trippy.
years.
I felt that shit right now. I felt that shit.
We would be in 21. We would be in a whole new century type shit, bro. That's like a futuristic thing. Like, people were talking about 2012 having flying cars. But, what are we thinking about in the year
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Bro? 2001, bro. What are we thinking about that? Where are we gonna be for real?
You think you're gonna be alive?
I'm probably, unless we get put into robots, but I don't know. Future, I feel like it's gonna be saved for the rich and wealthy, but our kids might be alive if we're
gonna be alive, bro. Because you know why we're going to be alive? Because it's going to be cybernetic, hybrid, robotic upgrades to where it ain't going to be ice. None of that. We're going to be just like how we are right now, but we ain't going to be talking over like a computer screen. Yeah, it ain't going to be that. We're not going to have it. We're not going to have to take it out of our pocket or put it on the bed and talk to it like how I am right here. We're going to have
Terminators.
it. Yeah, it's going to be in our head. So I'm going to close my eyes and then just talk to you.
For real.
That's what I got to say, 2100.
We'll have to be there. And there's where would we that's crazy for real.
I'm telling you.
We're going to be in this futuristic area.
And there's going to
be... They're going to have to rebuild, all of Malibu right now. They could straight put the Avengers Tower there if they wanted to, for real. It's crazy, you know what I mean? They could put whatever they want
but
there.
But you're thinking it in terms of California, America. It's not going to be none of that. By then, it's going to be a full globalist, full-blown New World Order, one civilization government. Everyone's going to be ruled by a single organism.
I mean, you were just in New
Or you
York
don't think that. Or you don't think that.
Huh?
What do you think? That's my theory right there. That's what I got to say. Or what you feel?
This whole new world?
It's going to be centralized to where people are going to realize to stop doing war. And it'll probably be so... you ever heard of the term progressive? It's basically... not the insurance company, but the mindset that these people are getting indoctrinated, and they're going to indoctrinate our kids into if we put them into these public schools, to where it's going to get to the point where it's going to be so much propaganda to where it turns us all into one. You ever heard that John Lennon song? We will be as one together, no heaven, no hell. It's a total... atheist. It's a chant. It's a theme song for atheism. And you hear me?
Yeah, that's crazy for that's true though. We just the world is probably gonna be run by honestly, in my future, I just feel there's gonna be all the continents. There's gonna be 7 world leaders.
Type shit.
Run the world at once. But the idea of it being perfect all depends on the cooperation level of everybody. Because obviously life will be perfect if we all just You know,
Yeah,
like
but
if
that's what I'm
everything
saying.
goes
That's
as
why
one,
I bring up
and
the
that's when that
progressive,
like
because it's gonna take years. It's gonna take years of
for
people
real,
trying to.
and that's the 80 years, bro. But like 80 years is
Yeah,
such
that's
a
what I'm
like that shit
saying.
could happen. Like they
It's gonna
could set
take.
that shit up today. They could be thinking of it out right now,
It's
and then
been
they're just gonna
happening.
like for real.
They're
It's been
mutilating our children, castrating men, literally cutting off their
bro. I
genitals.
just
And after 80 years, what do you think that's gonna lead us to? That's what I'm saying. Or I already said it. That's what I'm saying. We already just discussed this
bro.
shit right here.
That's
This is the
for real.
real
It's just
topic.
crazy. I was watching this movie, bro. I can't even remember what it was called, but it was about how people take our children for real. When we birth them, they take them, say they died or something on spot, like some crazy shit. And
You're
then
talking
like
about post-birth abortions?
not even like, but they take them and they train them, bro. They just brainwash them forever until they're old enough to be like ready, and then now they just have like this perfect citizen for society. But in the
Holy
movie, they
fuck.
brainwash them. They brainwash them
And they
to
were
become
putting
like
that in a movie?
assassins. No, they brainwash them to become assassins.
Because
But
they
like,
put it in a movie so that you watch it and you can say, oh, that's not real. That's in a movie. Because they show
right?
it to you. They feed it to you.
But like, that didn't even make me think that. That made me think more of like that's like a cover, bro. Like I feel they could just be like changing up the entire thing. Like they send them, and the CIA is bad, turning our kids into assassins. But in reality, the CIA takes our kids, brainwashes them into becoming the next big thing, the next world leader, like whatever it is, bro. And then like they're gonna send them out after all this brainwashing
Yeah,
of
that's Bin Laden
everything
like.
they
That's
need to
Osama Bin
know.
Laden like. But like what you were
Right,
saying,
exactly. And stop, like he was making kids into soldiers, but like that wasn't like a good. That wasn't even
but
like
that's just an
working for him.
example. Like what you said with the cover up, with I heard you with. That's what you ever heard of this? I heard this before. I'm not gonna say who told me because people they don't like getting associated with things. You know what I mean?
For sure, for
Where
sure.
it's a sheep mentality where one person they see the other people and they don't want
Mm-hmm.
to be. You know, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. But yeah,
Right.
Frozen. It's this thing in 2000, the biggest movie Disney, biggest thing of all time, most famous thing, and everyone said Frozen. And you look it up, it comes up the Disney movie, The Kids. But before that
Right.
shit, it's a play, like you said, a cover up. It's what I said. It's why I brought it up. Before that, when you look up Frozen, it
Uh
was
huh.
a whole conspiracy theory. That's what they try to call it, and it was showing it all online, everything. As soon as you look up the word Frozen, and that's why they use the media, Hollywood. It's the number one tool.
To cover it up.
Did I say media already? That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
Yeah, you said media is like the
Yeah.
number one tool.
I got this shit right here.
No, that's for real.
It's
Like
a
they
tool.
definitely
It's
like.
an instrument because a tool, with the tool is a hammer, where you can only use a hammer for one thing, and then you need a screwdriver or a saw. It's not that. It's an instrument where it's total musical frequencies, where it can literally, it's like a mind virus, to where it can
Bruh.
just infect everybody. Like I was talking to my sister yesterday, my blood sister, and she was telling me how girls aren't girls and boys aren't boys, and that gender is completely not like there is no, yeah, like she was telling me that. She's looking me straight dead in the eye. My sister, like, been my sister my whole life. Like, she's older than me. I'm just like, wow. Like, I actually felt it in my chest. I was telling her I saw this happening. I think it was maybe 5 years ago, and I never said anything. Like, I didn't step in or like, cause you see something happening and you don't want to tell someone in their face. Like, you kind of feel like, oh, okay. Like, you don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
But then it gets to the point where you're looking at them and you're hearing, like, you're actually hearing this, like, actually coming where people are saying that there is, like, that I'm not a boy and she's not a girl, and, like, stuff like that, to where I'm like, wow. It actually just makes you feel bad. Like, I don't know if I might have caused this or could have played more of to stop it from happening. Because it can happen to anybody.
Absolutely.
Because people will call you judgmental, or they try to weaponize these terms to get you, just like transphobic, or it was printed out in the newspapers. I don't know exactly what the year, but I'm telling you, before these things, they did not exist. It was printed out in the newspapers so that there could be these quick, bite-sized terminologies that people would understand and be able to say to instantly devalue and like deflate someone's I wouldn't say argument, just evidence or proof, or something about things like conspiracy theorist, or you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you know.
Bro,
That's why I'm telling you. Like,
honestly,
this is all first time. If the first time you're hearing this, like, this is all can be brand new to people to where it's jarring. They're like, really can't wrap their head around, like, is this actually how it is? Yes. They are making hybrids with animals and trying to crossbreed and find the next militarized, water-breathing. Like, I'm telling you, this is really happening, Tyler. Simply Faded. Like, this shit is really happening, bro. And people, they don't want to, like, they don't want to know.
Honestly, bro.
This is a crazy first 10 minutes right now.
If I was to get
You really started this shit right off the
conspiracy,
bat, like
bro,
Sandlot.
if I had to get into this conspiracy of just how social media and media itself controls the world, bro, like,
That's not even a conspiracy. That's a 100% fact.
No, that's absolutely the fact. And it's like my idea of it and the whole concept of it is just like everybody's conspiracy is based off of the media.
But the media is the one. That's what I say with the newspapers. They're the ones who made the word conspiracy to initiate these people into thinking
exactly like
that. I don't know. What did I say with the... Yeah, you already heard me, for real. Everything. Totally. It's everything, even down to the... I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say something, I'm not even going to say it.
Honestly, I think in this world, everything is ran by one thing. What is it? We don't know. We're not supposed to know. I don't even think...
I do know what it is. It's evil, and you can interface with it. The only way you're able to interface with evil... Not the only way. There's so many ways. But the only way you can interface and connect with good and love and spirituality and God, that's a lot harder to do. So people will use witchcraft and these things, and they will be connected through the other side or these dark dimensions, evil, to where it's to where it's real power. It's power. It's power.
So we're thinking like it's like this witchery though. Power, energy.
No, I'm saying you can't take the power of the Lord and God, so you will have to take the power from the underworld. It's literally, this is a new topic, yeah.
Dude, I feel like you understand how I am with the underworld. It's crazy, because I could get into this crazy, so like...
Let's get it going.
Honestly, and I'm not even gonna be speaking on how this shit runs the world. I'm gonna be speaking on the personal experiences of how it runs me, for real. Because everything I do, everything I feel is spiritual. I speak about it in my raps, unreleased raps. You will hear me speak about it.
Coming soon,
like
2025,
when they're fully finished. But
well, of course,
I literally have woken up in the middle of the night feeling this dark presence in my house, and I will go outside in the middle of the night and stand outside because I cannot be in my house of how dark of a presence I feel is in there. And honestly, I've for some reason run my paths with a lot of terrible dark spirit people that harvest very bad energy. And I've spoken about one to you. And I don't know if I've gotten into depth how I feel about him, because I haven't gotten it fully understood yet. But
We can
this
go back into it
OG,
right here.
this
We can go back
OG,
into it live.
I will. This OG I met him, and then I go home, right? I shook this guy's hand. I go home, and then I go to sleep, whatever. It's a normal day. I go back. I see him again, the next day, standing in the same spot. I see him again.
Fuck.
And then we start talking, right? And he starts telling me, he's like talking about how he wants to go to church and shit. And it's crazy because it's almost like this guy knew exactly what to say. Because he goes like, I'm thinking about going to church. Like, I want to become a Christian. Like, I don't really know what my religion is. What's your religion? And he brings that up. And like, I go, I don't like talking about it because I sound crazy because I'm a spiritual human. Like, I believe in energy and spirits and people was, and he's like, bro, I'm a very high energy person. And then he starts telling me about how this one time he touched somebody's hand and he felt everything they've ever felt and seen and like knew shit about them before they even told him. Right.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think much about that, but then I thought and then that night, I'm getting in bed and I get overcome by this shivering, but I'm not cold. I'm touching my body trying to figure it out because I can't stop. My body's like almost like a seizure. I'm touching my body trying to figure out my body's warm. I'm not cold. And it's like this but I'm like, my mind is clear, but it's like almost just like this insane like shivering and I can't control my body. And at some point, like, it's just like my arms are done. My legs are like sticking straight out and like it's just like feels like something's overcoming my body, bro. And then it stops instantly, bro. Just like my body like literally like as if like have you seen like
This is the power I'm talking about.
like
That people,
the exorcism where
yeah,
the girl is floating and then
demonic
she slowly
possession.
floats back into the bed. She doesn't like drop, she slowly drops back into it. That's how it felt. Like I felt my legs and my arms, but I was never lifted. But I felt it was almost like I was being pulled down.
That's what I'm saying. This is the power I'm talking about. People don't like to talk about or
no one likes to
see
talk about it because they'll sound
or
crazy.
look
People
under
need to come out and they need to tell people that
or crazy or
there
look
is an
underneath the
evil
carpet, look under
energy
the
in this
blanket,
world, bro.
and show
There's
what's really
there's
going
demons
on.
walking on Earth right now, and people need to watch out because they won't tell you.
I talk about this in my book I'm writing. There's a filter. There's a filter like birds can see in a different dimension in a higher sense of ultraviolet light. And there's things that are right in front of us.
There's birds that will be around your house that will let you know that someone's coming over, bro. Before you know, so they'll let you know to expect guests. It's a type of, I can't remember, someone told me.
Yeah. The animal kingdom, it's so intricate, diverse. Will let you know before you know to expect guests, right? And some is not native in some people's areas, so obviously it's like not going to happen to some people. But when that bird is in your area, like you should look around for that. I can't remember the name, but if you know for real. Like if you know, you do know, and you'll understand what I'm saying. But it's like birds are insane. Cats are also insane. And I don't know. I don't study this shit because I genuinely cannot. I don't think if I studied it, it would be a bad thing. It could lead to me getting too much. It's like, well, I'll tell it to you right here, right now. I'll tell it to you here right now. The ego isn't from that. The ego is from looking at the animal kingdom and the world, and we're seeing consciousness, and we're trying to place our version of consciousness onto things. And as humans, we create patterns. So that's why you'll hear something, you'll say, oh, that sounds like this, or that's like that, or you'll try to figure something out in your mind, because that's just how it is. It'll never stop. It's a constant loop. But what I'm saying about the cat is that, what was I saying about the cat is that of the ego, it's not that, it's actually of us where we're thinking that our consciousness is at a higher level, or at least being represented at a higher state than these other beings that are amongst us. So like you said about the cat or a bird, like there's things that these things can do that we will never. And yeah,
Absolutely.
you hear me?
That's exactly what I'm kind of trying to say. Like, these birds and cats, I genuinely think they're higher beings. And
they're operating in a different system.
Think about Egypt. Birds and cats. Literally Egypt. We got to connect the dots, bro. I didn't even think about that. Birds and cats in Egypt were their main focuses on power. They fucking worshipped cats. They fucking worshipped birds. Those were their gods, literally. Like, literally.
Yes, and I heard this before about Egypt. This is something you might not have heard. Because of how old it truly is in the sense of the timeline of the human race. To the ancient Romans, I heard this fact before. So it's not... most of the things I'm saying myself, and I'm completely... like before what we were talking about original versus adaptation. Maybe we could bookmark that for later. We could talk about that. But what I was saying is this right here. I like to give credit when I'm actively sourcing something from another creative or whatever historian, because I drive to. You know what I'm saying? So I heard this, and the ancient Romans of the timeline to us, how old the ancient Romans are. We're talking about Greeks, Athens, the movie 300, right. Zack Snyder, one of my favorite directors, was as old to the ancient Romans are to us of Egypt was to the ancient Romans.
That's crazy. So they're like hell. But
so it's an unfathomable, explainable level of time and space away from us.
Old, bro. They're like 1,000 years old at this point.
The thing is, what you don't realize is that we don't even have an exact date. If we put it on it, we're finding 500 years that we're an idiot and that it was possibly longer. There's structures through carbon dating, or because I'm not a scientist, right? I want to be, but I'm not. And there's these things that they do. What is it? The scientific method, the 5 steps, where they're seeing these things where it's unexplainable structures, where they find it and they're like, I have no idea how or why this was built. Because we know who built it. We did, humans. But we try to think of ourselves as so much better as the previous generation or even century, right? Because if you look at the 1900s, there's a lot of things that we were actually doing better back then. But I'm saying of where back in the day were of hunter-gatherers, of people thinking that all we're doing is touching our dicks and throwing stones around and stuff like that, when we were actually finding these insane level architecture and structuring based society and civilization almost. Even before the Mesopotamian river valleys. It's absolutely interesting and truly encapsulating if you decide to lift the rock that you're under and, you know, actually use free thought and see these things, because they're not being shown, you know. They say, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'll end it off because that might have been a little, I'm not even going to say the word, but let's just not dumb it down for people. But if you're explaining to a 5-year-old, there's things even older than Egypt.
Absolutely.
So here we go. Adaptation versus originality. We'll mark that for later. But what you trying to get into right now? Episode 1, November 17th podcast interview right here. T. Jones, Simply Faded, producer, actor, just thinker, just great human being, you know, friend, you know, Mr. Blunt, smoking on a blunt. You know, I have never seen this guy not with the blunt. It's not just one of those names where you give yourself It's one of those things that's truly
Earned.
yeah, there we go. Okay.
Smoking on the blunt right now.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at it right here. We're over the phone. It's like Tory Lane's in jail. Free Tory. It's like we're over the shit, the audio. It should be pretty good audio how it's sounding. It's pretty good audio. I did a sound check before this. And then we got it cracking. Playboy Cardi.
New drop by Playboy was crazy. I didn't finish it.
I was listening.
Yeah.
Last night, he said it was going to come out, right? Because Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time is 12 o'clock, New York City. And that's when albums come out. That's when music comes out, right? Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to, I'm not listening. I'm waiting. I'm standing there. I look at my phone. It doesn't come out. He tweets on it. First time he tweeted in like 3 years. Shit hasn't dropped in 5 years. First time he tweets in 3 years. Shit says 12 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. So it's a 3-hour delay. I'm like, what the fuck? I go to bed, set an alarm, wake back up, 12 p.m. PST. Shit still doesn't drop. I'm up on Kai Cenat stream. Shout out our stream, by the way. Twitch TV/4Display. Twitch TV/Simply Faded. Coming soon. More of that soon. Just been so focused on this.
Coming event.
Yeah, for real. Entertainment. The Art of War. I've been listening to audiobook by, I'm not even going to try to say his name because I'll butcher it. Just a Japanese writer from hundreds or, dare I say, even thousands of years ago. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Event.
Wow.
Combat. It's just competition, you know. But it's really a battle. But what it really is the TFC Interim Championship. Heavyweight,
A massive
lightweight.
title fight. The first title fight of TMZ, correct?
No, I've been in nothing but title fights these last couple bouts. I haven't not
Really?
fought for a title since what's the month before June? April 2024. April. You know, you'll be able to see more about this in well, I don't go directly in depth to it, so I'll probably we'll hear, but I've got a documentary, not the Rookie of the Year, but that's still coming soon. Got a trailer on that. The Chupacabra, coming soon, where it's a whole chronological fucking development of just my whole life through fighting, and you'll see it in it. I mean, it's better just to watch it than explain it. It's really I don't know, I'll just say Bruce Lee, I don't know. We'll get into something else right here. I'm trying to find some shit right here. Hold up. Alright, I found this shit right here. We for real started this shit off hot right here, but yeah, you know, I feel so guilty even talking about it because I know I should be in the garage right now, hidden in the bag, but I already was hidden in the bag earlier. I was running, I'd say like a mile or two at the most, you know. I was putting in, I'd say, some more work in some earlier days, but it's like compounding. So 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, doesn't matter really what you're doing. That shit's gonna add up, you know, compound, whatever I just said right now. But
for sure.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, definitely not my first title fight. I said it in the, like I was saying in the documentary, that's why I'm not going to go over it, because in there is really everything, you feel me?
Right.
So, UFC, I just seen you playing that shit. UFC, the game. You know, I'll end it off on this right here. I was inspired by UFC when I made the title. TFC, I thought in my head, UFC, TFC.
TFC.
I was 14 years old, 2021. I posted recently on my story, 2021. I was blonde. I bleached my hair. A picture. It was it's like a publicity stunt. That shit was, I wasn't actually blonde. I'm not blonde. I'm I have black hair, jet black hair.
Bro.
But let's get it going. We started this shit off with the bang, with the fire and the spark, and we're not gonna let it dwindle right here. Big bang, it just reminded me when I said that. Or more importantly, the singularity event is what they call the dawn of all galaxies and the universe as a whole. And it's ever expanding. I mean, they try to point to what's the word? I'm snapping my fingers right here. I think it's called perpetual.
Religion? I feel
No,
like
no,
they
no.
always
It's
be
called
trying to put religion as.
perpetual motion, or the theory that gravity moves outwards and expands everlasting. Is that Albert Einstein thing he said? A lot of the things he said were not proven until years after his death. One of the most famous man, I mean, of all time, you know what I'm saying?
I love Albert Einstein. He said,
I love it. I remember.
You only need 2 hours of sleep, and I agree.
Damn, bro. I could see that shit on his face.
I feel like when you sleep only 2 hours, you have so much energy throughout the rest of the day. That's why you're only sleeping 2 hours. Because you have so much energy from sleeping 2 hours. Like, think about it. How does a guy sleep 2 hours on a constant way? Like, constantly sleep 2 hours and then, like, say it doesn't benefit him. He's
and create fucking gravity itself, the theory of relativity.
He's giving 22 hours in his day and 2 hours away to sleep. And it has full energy to do it 22 hours again. You can't say doesn't have energy. That dude was doing lectures. That dude was doing interviews. That dude was everything.
He was a total mogul, icon in his time. And before his death, his final words, you heard that they were spoken to a nurse that didn't even speak his own language. They were ever forgotten.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You know, inspiring, human. I'm getting this like existential, almost nihilistic wave that's coming over me right now, and it's making me feel like not even human. I'm thinking like cellular organism, where I'm feeling we're just like these total meat patties, you know?
Absolutely.
Because it's honestly, our physical
like
flesh
everything's a simulation
that we're looking out of through our consciousness.
Look at clouds. Clouds are fake. I look at clouds, bro, and it looks like there's something else up there, bro.
No, we need to get into that, yeah. The simulation, this is what I think right here about that. I don't shoot that down. Because when I see my hands in front of me, or when I'm looking at something, I don't know the exact word to say it. Rubber, that's gnarly. That's trippy. But I say like there's a volume effect to the distance, like through it. Like I can put my hand up to my eyes, and there's this, you know what I'm trying to say? Like this feeling I get where I'm like, is it not rubber, but is it just like I can face through it? Like it's fucking, you know what I'm saying? Digital.
I put on my hand right in front of my face right now, dude. It's just like
digital.
I look at it for real. I be moving my fingers like that. I feel like fingers move in such like a robotic way.
No, we're not robots. See, that's the thing.
But no, not even. But like you gotta think
we're
the real thing.
Children of God, and we're physically looking, or this is what I believe right here. We're looking outwards, and internally is our consciousness. And it's like if you close your eyes, or not even have to close your eyes, you can just focus on something like this computer, or hopefully something not digital.
Bro.
And if you just feel it for a few seconds, and you just try to like and then it goes by, and then it's over, and it's the craziest feeling, because it's when all the distractions are gone and you're just feeling the human consciousness of what it's like to be alive, like in that moment. And it's very, it can be overwhelming for some people. And some people, it's just called meditation, and then they do it every day. So.
I definitely be meditating every day.
I don't, but I'm saying, it's
I
what you
don't
think.
even
It's all
need
perspective.
to.
Because when I'm thinking about something, someone else can look at me and judge me, but I'm really just in my room. I have 4 fucking things above my head. All my movies,
Titles.
Titles. The only titles that I got is if I win this next fight against the big boy. But, yeah,
That's the only title you have to focus on right now.
Because that's a real title. But, yeah, totally titles like, Cicada.
Cicada's great.
That's probably my, I'd say my favorite, most proud. I mean, it's absolutely, I don't want to give it away or spoil the ending.
Bro. Do you have that released?
Cigarette?
Yes, bro. You gotta re-release it, bro. Or at least get it to me, bro.
Lost Media.
For real, bro. You need to get
Cigarette
that to me, bro.
featuring XO6, my brother. You hearing this shit right now? We're in it 37 minutes in. Let's get it going. I know you're going to be listening to this. Shout out my brother. He's doing his thing. He's been doing his thing. And he'll keep doing his thing. Just like how I'm doing my thing, and I've been doing my thing, and I'm going to keep doing my thing. I just think maybe we shouldn't try to interweave our 2 things together too much. They probably just got to play out. But Mr. Blunt right here with the blunt. I don't want to get this shit age restricted, so it would probably be fucking censored or taken down. I mean, I'm on my phone sometimes, or I'll be in a vulnerable position, like in the bathroom or something, and I already know that my phone and all my computers, it's recording me, and that it's going to, they're capturing all this data on me, and it's looking at me, but I'm fine with it, and I just know that one day I'll be able to, if they try to come up to me or knock on my door and blackmail me, or they try to say something about me, it's not going to work on me. And that's what my shit is called, for display. I always been for display, and I'm always going to be. So it's like, these people, there's nothing you can do to stop me. It's never going to work.
Absolutely.
Nah, but we're just getting in this shit right here. Simply, we got a long ways to go. Let's keep it going. What you thinking? Because you're really the guest on this shit. Like, I can really carry this right here, but you're really the individual. You're not the first episode on this. It might be the first episode that comes out, but I have a joint. I have a joint with CJG, Caleb J. Gallagher, coming soon after this one, and then I'm gonna have a solo one, and anybody else, like I was talking about my brother, we gotta get my brother on this shit. Anybody else, if you're listening to this, you want to get up on this, let's go, hit me up. My email is joaquinfay06@gmail.com. Again, I'll say that again, joaquinfay06@gmail.com. Okay. I guess we marked this earlier, adaptation versus originality. More specifically, the idea of an individual's creation and the power that one has, and that all of us have, when it's like distribution. It's an exchange of thought. That's kind of how I try to think of of the movies and stuff? Or what do you think?
I think a lot of this world is like unoriginal. You gotta think of like how much like neighborhoods, like in neighborhood, they usually have like 4 different designs, and then every house is those 4 different layouts, bro.
Wow.
Like on some real shit in the neighborhood I used to live in, bro. My house was the exact same layout as my friend's house.
Wow.
But they just had added a fucking room, like an office, and then took out an office. So
That totally plays into what we're saying.
It's like
right here.
this crazy like
Beautiful.
Twilight Zone effect where you like everything around you is copycatted, bro. And so nothing in my mind is coming from an original standpoint other than low key though, like, because you got to think like,
you're speaking something right now that is genuinely profound. Keep going.
Like everything comes from inspiration. Nothing comes from an original aspect other than the original people. But those
it's a paradox because that comes from it's an infinite loop.
Takes us right back to ancient shit, like
the dawn of man.
So far, like cave art from cavemen, bro. Like now we're like
because you see one person stand up. That goes into Takeda 2023 when I was rolling out my debut record.
But like you think
when
like art,
you see one person stand up, yeah, with the art, like what you said about the caveman.
Art's so like such a big like it's like such a what's the word? Like I know the word, I just can't.
When someone stands up and you see them, it makes you want to stand up too.
Exactly, but like you gotta think like. Here's like the craziest aspect though. Like we think of cavemen as such stupid animals, right? Like, they weren't human. They weren't smart, right? They created the wheel. Like, okay, that's like they're the start of evolution for real.
Neanderthals.
So, but beyond that, bro, it's like art comes from them. But we consider them a low brain, like almost like monkeys. Like we don't think of them as smart things. But art evolved from them, bro.
I wouldn't say monkeys. I don't believe in that.
Whatever we want to say, we're not like monkeys, but they didn't have the brain of a human. They couldn't speak. Words weren't a thing. They used to.
Yeah, it definitely did come from them. But art is it's one of those. My favorite definition of it is, no definition. Like it's one of those. It's kind of like time and space where it's outside of all, you know what I'm saying? It's outside of all problems or things that we're going to try and put onto it. Like art is, what's the song called? Timeless? No, that was such a stupid reference for such a high level fucking, I don't even know. But yeah, keep it going, see.
I don't know. I just feel like the evolution of everything is just crazy because.
No, I feel you. What you said.
The idea of originality is just such a hard thing to like say. This is original because
like, even when you
obviously
want to say
original,
yeah, and that goes into adaptation, where
it is original, but it's like
you are
right.
You are creating something based off of another property or developed idea. Exactly. Like Spider-Man or Daredevil.
Bro, like those are original, for real.
Or the Hulk.
For real, and those were like created, and those like, but now you gotta think like all those superheroes were created. They have so many superheroes. They have so many.
Rest in peace, Stan Lee. There's this new documentary because I was talking about documentaries a lot. There's this new documentary actually coming out. That's chronologic. it's the final days of his life, the last moments, and the elder abuse that he was fell victim to. It's actually very sad. I gotta send you the trailer or something. He was taken advantage of, and Stanley, if you're looking down watching this, you're probably so busy right now that you probably don't even care about what I'm doing. So just go back to that. But yeah, adaptation versus originality. I think we put a pin in that. I mean, I'll end it off with there's a difference between something like a Knife Love Sex Rock and you know what I'm saying? Original stuff is like an explosion, a bang. It's like a grenade, just absolute fire and fury. But adaptation, it's more of a fine art, It's like you twirl your mustache, you put your pinky in the air, and you really try to make something that's, what it really is. It's Shakespeare, it's Romeo and Juliet. It's these stories that are everlasting when you can make something
I don't
that's
even really
so
think
powerful.
I think of Edgar Allan Poe is more powerful than Shakespeare. I mean, Shakespeare was
debatable.
super powerful, but in my opinion, Edgar Allan Poe was more modern too, I guess you could say. So I guess it's like more of like a cliche to it, because fucking what's his name?
1800s.
Like there's
William Shakespeare created at least 20% of the English language. He was that much of a writer.
Absolutely.
And
that's the name I was trying to remember. He was definitely like a bookmark
individual.
Probably an
what a man, He's an inspiration to me.
Poe, for
real.
Like, I really
Edgar
don't know
Allan Poe
timelines as well as you, so I don't know if they were part of the same timeline or different. Like, but I know
they were separated by centuries.
For sure, absolutely.
Borderline 1,000 years.
No.
Let's look into it right here.
Crazy.
I'm gonna get it off right here. Let's get it going.
I'm telling you,
William Shakespeare.
400 years, 300 years.
Wow, I'm putting in William. Why doesn't it just immediately come up? Why does William Shatner, William Hurt, William Zabka, William Levy, and William Sonoma come up and just William come up before, and no William Shakespeare? Cat Williams, Theo Von, the legendary William Hill online betting, casino, bingo, and games. You see, this is what I'm talking about earlier about the media, where people were trying to call us crazy and laugh. It literally is so powerful where it can erase the greatest mind to maybe ever exist.
One of the creators of English, for real.
What more do I have to type into this besides William? Come on now.
You shouldn't have to type in anything else other than that, for real.
Keller Williams reality camera reel specialists. Closed now, 0.6 miles away. Like, come on. And I'm not lying right now. You know it. I'm a truthful guy. I've never lied to you.
Bro, that's crazy. That's honestly insane, bro. That shit comes up before anything else.
It makes me not even want to look up and find the answer because of just how jarring that was. And it almost was just, you know what I'm saying? Overwhelming.
Almost sad.
I'm wearing, very sad. I'm wearing Star-Spangled Banner underwear right now. Red, white, and blue. And, this country, there's a loss of patriarchy. And there's a loss of, what's it called? Nationalism? A spirit of, pride for your homeland. It's like there's people that curse God, there's people that burn our flags, and there's people that are burning kids and animals in their backyard, and they're sacrificing real babies And they're kidnapping girls because girls' souls are more powerful than guys. So they're sacrificing them to X, Y, and Z. And they're growing in numbers. And this is really happening, Tyler. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like,
bro.
and they don't want you to know about it because they're the ones doing it. And it's like goes to a higher level where they're in big black SUVs and it's so safe and secured to where it's bulletproof.
Bro.
More money than the NFL, NBA, MLB, UFC, even TFC, throw that in there. Everything combined, the most money they're making is from the sex trade, traffic, online distribution, and physicality of child sex slavery. I'm serious. This is what people, they don't want to hear. They say, what? There's NFL? No. The Super Bowl? No. Yes. There's more money people are making from, because you got to get it. These people, it's not just a one-time use thing. It's so horrible to say, but it's every day. It's happening multiple days. These transactions are at $10,000, $20,000. Such high amounts. You know how much? I'm not even going to say that, but I will because of just the situation. That's the reality that people are, they hide away from. It's the reality. You know how much money you can sell a child into sex slavery for?
Probably a lot, bro.
It's over $100,000. So if you think about this is happening every single day.
People buy your sperm for $200. You got sperm banks, bro. $200. You can donate sperm.
And it's
for
happening
$100.
every single day. And just in the last hour we've been on this right here, at least 10,000 kids that have already been in that system are, and there's at least 1,000, 2,000 more people that have, or not 2,000, but at least 1,000 more people being abducted into it just from the start of this conversation worldwide.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. This is a thing that people that say, no, that's just not true. Where's your source? This is a thing that when you look it up, we couldn't even find William Shakespeare. So this is what I'm saying, you guys. It's not, you're going to have to see and read between the lines and think, where is all this coming from? The guy behind the man. It's true. There's no falsehoods in any of these statements right here. This could all be fact checked. And this is the thing, and this is the thing with me is that they'll know it from the start. Good always beats evil, so it'll always triumph. So it'll be this constant understanding that might never be understood. I'm about to take a smoke break real quick. Hold up. Talk to him.
Honestly, bro. That's a crazy concept. Like, all that is crazy. I think
it's not crazy. It's 100% what's happening.
Nah, for real.
But it's crazy in the
Absolutely.
sense of, wow, might have not been thinking about that before. All right, we back right here. The November 17th podcast. Next day, we took a little break, and now we back right here. The pause is unpaused. Let's go. What were you saying, T? Give it to him.
All right. Well, I was trying to think of a topic for us to start off kind of strong. And I thought this could be a topic for, like, a lot of, like, people. And especially us, maybe more me so. But I think it's a topic, not necessarily, like, the world's issues, just personal issues. Like, what is it? How do we know when we're really moved on from something? Like, it doesn't matter what it is, but how do we know we've really carried on, you know?
And put it past
like,
you?
What?
And where you put it past you?
Yeah, like, I feel like there's always a time where, like, you hold on to something and you always feel like it's done, but you're always going to think about it later. Like, how do we know we truly moved on, you know? I feel like that's like a crazy, like...
Well, at first, when you realize that you haven't thought about it for a while.
For real, but like then you think about it though. Like so like I feel like
Well, you can never like with me, I guess the importance of memory and the value, it's not in when it's gone, but it's when it was there. So there's power. It's like grief, you know, it's not sadness.
Yeah.
Sadness is just how much you loved them being shown.
I feel like I have a lot of like there's a lot of grief in this world for real, and I have a lot of grief. You know?
Yeah.
Like memories, like I don't know how to put it. Like I said, this is like a crazy, like it could be like a deep conversation, and I didn't want to talk about any like moments for real. There's no moments that I want to bring up, but like I just feel like honestly, the way you put it made me think like maybe moving on isn't necessarily what we're supposed to do, but to just be able to look at something without like
the power is in where it comes from, not where it's
it
going.
came from, exactly. Like
because we don't know where it's going.
We shouldn't have to be like we shouldn't feel that moving on is like 100%.
You have no idea
needed for real.
What's happening tomorrow.
Know. Absolutely, you never know what's happening.
You might feel it forever.
Like, for real, you could feel it forever. Like it's kind of like.
I mean, there's things I still think about from kindergarten.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
So far back in life, and it just makes me think like.
So it's like,
are you ever supposed to truly move on from anything? You know, like, or are you just supposed to like? I feel like life with having a story is like the entire point. You know, being able to tell a story through all your emotion is like the entire point of living, and that's why when you live a harder life, you just have a better story for real.
Yeah, it is a story. I like to say journey because it's not a story. You know, it's real life. It really happened.
It's real life.
And there's a difference between
documentary.
You're like
your documentary.
There's a difference between a documentary and a movie. There's a difference between Humpty Dumpty and your life. You know.
For real, because Humpty Dumpty's like an egg that fell off a wall.
I'm saying it's a written piece provided for escapism. It all comes into that concept where it's you're trying to be somewhere you're not, or you're trying to escape reality, I guess. It's not about, I didn't say it just for the egg or like the thing. It's about the difference is a story isn't, this isn't a story, this is real life. A story is it's attention, you know. It's completely different things. At least for me, like someone that comes from that background, like it's so people might get the lines blurred, but it's really a border and you can't cross it. But I got some other topics we could get going to. I got written down.
Let's hop into some of your topics. That was just like the only topic that could really come to my mind.
No, that was something for sure.
That was definitely a start.
The thing is that a lot of people don't know is that aliens, the word alien, right? It means anything other or extraterrestrial from other. So when they're making these, or not making, but already made. That's the thing a lot of people also don't understand is that the technology is being implemented and shown to us now has already been here 30, 35, 50 plus years. And I'm serious. There's a thing they say, no, that's not true. It's made the exact day or year was made. No, these things, they're being pushed out systematically, and it's all a part of some
evolution holding. It's like they're holding evolution almost.
It's engineering. It's engineering opportunities. That's the most powerful thing of the human just mankind itself is our constant evolution, like you said, in technology and growth. And
So
that's basically the meaning of life. That's what people ask. What is that? It's really just to keep on going forward. Or at least that's what I see from an observation.
absolutely, I think like there's no reason to not move forward. And also, honestly, I want to go back to
It's out of our control. It's completely out of our hands. Even if you're not the one doing it, someone else is.
You brought up aliens. What do you mean? Like, do you mean like because I've seen so many like things about how our government, and I mean, it kind of would make sense, but I don't think it's necessarily our government, because I feel like most of our government doesn't even know. But there's a certain part that works with the aliens, and the
They
aliens
do
have
know.
been giving us
They do
information
know.
for so long, bro.
If I know, then they know. I'm gonna give it to you straight
Absolutely.
right here.
Like, they're listening. They're hearing our conversations right now. They know. But
They're listening. There's worldwide surveillance going on, capturing every single
they
second,
probably have
every
cameras on
single.
us, even though we don't have cameras set up on us.
It's literally 24 hours, 365 every month of the year. Yeah, you already know it. But with the aliens, I'd say it like this. Just how you see it in the movie with the guy, the gray skin, big black eyes. You see, it's not exactly like that, but it is being kind of like drip fed into our heads because it's...
To think it's fake.
Yeah, because it's not to think it's fake, but it's 2 feet tall organisms that are the size of, just go up past our kneecaps or to our hip bones. And they're these beings that are from other planets and have the power to physically turn you into stone just by your mind. When they look at you, they can instantly kill you.
Medusa type shit.
This is the thing, a lot of people, they don't understand. It's a technology, it's from another world. They're able to move with zero combustion engines just based off of gravity, just zipping around off of...
So they move through the energy.
Yeah, it's... So you're trying to comprehend it and wrap it around with your... Earlier we were talking about monkeys, but it's kind of a funny joke. Monkey brain, it's not going to work that way, you know what I'm saying? You got to think about it. If you're really there, seeing it, I'm telling it to you, this is what it is. They're 2 feet tall, 2.5 feet tall, textured skin, and they're from other solar systems.
I have a memory, very vivid memory, so I remember it very well, actually. And I was young. I was on this trip with this camp thing. It's this Christian camp called Pacific Camps. I'm sure you know about that.
Of course.
Of course, that's like that's like our area's thing. You know, it's like a thing in our area.
I was a part of it.
Yeah, right. It's a thing. You know, it's a Christian camp. We used to do these trips during the summer every Wednesday to the beach. I don't know if you know about that either, but the summer trips to the beach.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember I was doing these walks. We were walking on these rocks, and I look in between these rocks, and I see this skeleton, like decomposing skeleton, not completely. But the thing is, it wasn't a bird, because it was like exactly like you're explaining, just way smaller, and it was deep in these rocks, in between them, with the light almost just shining perfectly on its body. It was dead, but it was like this alien-like thing, and I remember seeing it vividly. I've seen it, but like it was there, like a real life situation. I saw this thing, and then like,
yeah, well, it's not that it's smaller, it's that these things, they have offspring, and that when they're born, they're not the same exact size as when they grow up. So that's the full
and that one could have just
height,
not made it, you know?
And it's,
that one could have been like a young that just wasn't ready, or whatever happened.
Yeah, they have this word. It's like an acronym or abbreviation where it's like, it starts with a P or something, where it's like,
dude, aliens
in the first year where a baby will die like suddenly, So yeah, that's what you're saying about on a small, it could have been. Yeah, I mean the fact that you even still remember that from way back then, that's something you gotta hold on to that.
There's another crazy moment, and I could call friends that were there. Not obviously not right now, but I do have sources that remember this more than just my childhood brain, because this was like I was like 10 or like 11, 12 years old. It was around Christmas time. You might have even seen it, bro, because this was a real life thing. And in the sky, and they blamed it on a rocket. They said it was a rocket that went to space. I have no idea. But they blamed it. There was this thing in the sky. It was purple, orange, almost like the fucking neon skies in like Alaska or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Northern Lights.
The Northern Lights. But it wasn't. It was like almost like this explosion of like, those space gas.
Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about when it was like matter and like, total light beams in the sky.
It was just in the air, right? And it was like growing, and it was like this giant
2018 or 2019.
Yes, bro. Like young as fuck, bro. It was a real life thing in the sky, and I remember no one. Me and my friends were young, so we couldn't explain it. No one could explain it. And then like the next day, there's this post about, oh, that thing in the sky was a rocket or something. No way. Like, they were like, the aliens came down, didn't cover their tracks well. They were like, you guys gotta fix that. Fixed it the next day, because that shit never happened again, ever. Right?
Yeah, for real. I remember that shit. I was looking into the sky.
The next day, like, nothing happened. No one mentioned it ever. Teachers said nothing. No one ever said anything about it, ever. Like, that shit was just like, if you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, you didn't. And
that had to have been 6, 7,
Fight Club rule. You don't talk about
8 years ago
no
now.
one said anything, bro. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Bro, I know exactly what you're talking about. I could pull up. I swear I got a picture of it when it happened because I was so dumbfounded. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Everyone was like, what the fuck was happening, until the government blamed it on a rocket, and then no one said anything. Like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, here's the thing.
They brainwashed the adults already. The kids that saw it, they couldn't do anything about it, right? So, like, they're like, these kids are just going to forget about it. Now it's in a podcast documented.
But we never forgot that. We never forgot that.
It's like, like the Men in Black, and they wipe your memory, bro?
That shit did not happen to us. We kept our memory.
Dude.
And we're here to tell the tale.
We were young. We were on a computer screen. All the adults on a computer screen, that shit flashed their faces, bro. Wiped their memory about it.
There's actual technology that is being implemented into your bloodstream through the air. That's what people don't get. When things are flying over, it's going it's radioactive, it's intermolecular, so you can't even see it. Even with the microscope, people say with the microscope, there's things even smaller than an atom. And they don't say that in science. This is a thing they don't understand. It's getting into your bloodstream, it's soaking into you, and in 5 years, you have a heart attack. There's young kids, 18 years old, 21 years old, kids having cardiac arrest. Why? It should not be happening this generation at such a age, but I'm not even going to say why because they'll come to my house. But you know why.
For real.
You know why. But let's get into this next topic I've got. I think it's called... No, I know. I'm looking it up right here to get some more information. Operation Starfish right here. Operation Starfish.
Hold on, I've heard of that. Let me look that up just to get a little more information too, because I've heard of that for sure.
1962.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're shooting nuclear bombs into outer space to blow up the sky. And this really happened. You can look it up right here. July 9th. It was launched, but I'm about to tell it right here. High altitude nuclear explosion, radiation belts. They're trying to test, and the goal was they're trying to say the effectiveness of these weapons, especially as ballistic missiles. You don't shoot rockets into the air to see if they blow up. You already know they're going to blow up and kill people. You did it twice and killed a bunch of Asian people. So now let's talk about what's the real reason why over almost 100 years ago now. Actually, no. Definitely less than
That's
that, but
crazy. When I look it up, everything comes up to the DC shit. A picture of Scarface shows up, and it's all written under fandoms, bro. And then there's
wow.
one that says
Fandom.
Project Starfish
Fandom.
.education, not even .com, .education, Project Starfish for schools, bro. And it's not even a real thing. It's like it's a project, like a school project.
So this goes
for
back to what we were
schools.
talking about in the beginning
They
of this
hide
last
shit
night.
from the original. They push away on media so you can't find it.
No,
But
it's not. It's the media, but what it is, it's the internet was made less than. It's literally only been out since like, I don't even know exactly when the internet started, but it definitely wasn't fucking 1962. So they go back to the start of their internet, like 99, these big computers that are taking up warehouses filled of space and data, and they don't have enough room for Operation Starfish.
hold on, though. I want you to look at this picture on FaceTime real quick and tell me this doesn't kind of resemble what we saw that day.
Wow, so it's still happening.
I mean, that's not guaranteed, right?
Bro, but
Look at
you
this
think
one.
it's not about guaranteed. You have to use your own free thought because we're looking it up.
For real,
It's
that's
not
the
even
thing
coming
they want
up.
you to use is guaranteed.
They want you to look it up and try and see an actual picture of starfish. And they're not want
Yeah,
you
like
to
this-
know. They're trying to show science fiction, eyeball, superhero starfishes.
It's like this is from a movie.
They're trying to show astronaut starfishes.
Like this
And-
is all Suicide Squad. Maybe they made Suicide Squad with the starfish to try getting rid of this whole idea.
And you literally look it up and it comes up the fucking movie
That's it.
DC. You know,
Right
this
here,
goes back
look,
to what
let
I
me
was
go
saying
back to the
earlier.
original Right here, look.
What was it? Frozen? My gosh.
Fandoms, dude.
This is the greatest.
Fandoms about it.
This is
Look
literally
at-
the
look at-
greatest
Look how this
episode
shit
of.
pops up right here, bro.
This is the best
It's literally
episode.
Scarface, bro. What-
It's
that
showing
has
Tony
nothing-
Montana Scarface Starro
with
instead
nothing
of
about
the fucking 1962 operation where they're trying to blow up the atmosphere and go directly through the Van Allen radiation belt and see what's past it.
Starro the Conqueror, also known as
And it's
Project
unclear.
Starfish, is one of the two main antagonists of the 2021 film of Suicide Squad. And then they mentioned nothing else of it.
Wow.
And then a
So they're
picture
talking
of
about
fucking
James Gunn.
Scarface.
DC pedophile director won't ever even have 1% of the greatness of work that I made when I was fucking 10 years old. And they won't show this goddamn. You know, I'm getting mad now. You know, let's move on to another topic. I think we already got that.
We covered that one.
We covered that
enough, I
one.
think.
Like, that was.
We proved our point quickly.
We proved it quickly and precisely. Now,
Absolutely.
another thing that I'm interested in is here. I've got it right here. Let's bookmark this for later. Is 2028 The Devil. We're gonna make an announcement later about
Amazing.
a movie
That's great.
project that is coming soon. But first, before that, we're gonna have to talk about this before. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So here, the powers and ability to learn. So this is another thing that people might not know if this is the first episode you're listening. You can experience and delve into these things that after years, 10, and I'm not talking about 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. I'm talking about 10, 20, 30 plus years can pay off in a way to where you have these, let's just say, abilities. and you're able to do these things and move these things where it's almost
Habit.
it's almost outside of our reality.
Right, like it's just so normal. Like opening a can or drinking water. Like you don't think about the action anymore.
What I'm saying more specifically, Tyler, is outside of, it's something that we can't get here in this can and water place. Like, we have to find it somewhere else outside of even technological based Western civilizations. So things like the jungle, caves, and
Absolutely.
it's something that I can't prove, right? I can't do it myself. But I know the power and the intrinsic thought that you need to possess it. So this is how it goes. You can sit down in any room or empty barren space, preferably the middle, because the corners of any space that has four walls doesn't electrically, like, the middle is just the most foundational space of
That's
any,
where everything bounces
yeah,
to.
of any physical, yeah, state. You already know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So you stick your hands out in the air, or you can clasp them together physically. And this is what I said before with the 10, 20, 30, it could be 50 years. It's something that isn't readily available, and I think that's the point, is that there's these beings that are operating at a different, I wouldn't even say intelligence. It's not intelligence. It's not IQ. It's a genuine skill that can be learned. Yes. And
it's a whole nother
level that is very much achievable. Yes. So
absolutely.
I'm about to take. So yeah. Give us your thoughts on that.
Honestly, the idea of there being a higher level to achieve is absolutely real to me. I mean, you got to think about the monks
reaching nirvana.
Exactly. You got to think about that. That's like their whole thing is meditating, and they sit there. There's some of them who sit there for years on years
and never eat food,
sitting there, never eat nothing, and they're at such a high level of energy, they don't need any of it.
And they're surviving just from drinking the water droplets of a leaf falling from a tree.
So, just crazy shit. And then that's how, Buddha, he became a thing, right? That
they're walking up mountains physically that people need ropes. They're being tied, forests are being tied to ropes of mountains being taken up.
Absolutely.
And there's these people that are able to physically walk up it without even using their hands or thinking.
I've seen that shit. I know exactly what you're talking about, bro.
It's genuinely... But you know what I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to say is that the people listening, they're thinking, what?
You gotta let people know for real.
They're saying, no, that's not true. Like, this is what I'm saying. Simply, this is what I'm saying.
I could probably look it up right now. But if it's not covered up for real.
But this also goes into it where you don't... This also goes into Cicada, where it's one of my beliefs where I'm saying you don't need to provide, or you don't need to prove, I should say. Right. You don't need to justify your own will to anybody, ever. And that's something when I was a young lad, a young buck in the yard, I didn't fully understand. I would try to assert... I'd say not prove, but assert my position amongst others. And I never realized that, your fate or destiny, it's like, that has absolutely nothing to do with I was going to say anybody else, or just, it's literally anything else. Like, it's almost untouchable, or that's kind of the idea behind it, is that you can't, there is no hand that you can play in it.
For real. It's really just what you do, and it's up to you, for real.
Yeah, but how you doing this morning? 1:15 p.m. What you been doing today? How you feeling?
Yeah, man. I woke up around
Cause we started off
7:50.
hot again. We started off hot again.
Absolutely. I woke up pretty late for my normal timing. I woke up 7:50. I usually wake up 5 o'clock. But got some sleep in. First day of the weekend. And I smoked a nice little fat blunt. Actually, I smoked about two of them, to be honest.
Mr. Blunts, call him plural.
I got a bong that I just packed up. I'm gonna hit that whenever we take a nice little break to smoke. You know it happens.
Bro, I've
on
low
this
key
type of show.
I've low key been on a break.
Oh, nice. So I'm probably gonna hit it in a second once you start carrying off. But my morning's been pretty good, honestly. I made some wings. I haven't eaten them yet. They're just chilling. I'm not really hungry. I made them and forgot I made them and then realized I wasn't hungry. But no, I actually got my brother in the room. Rest in peace, his soul. I've been smoking with him.
Wow, rest in peace.
It's been a pretty chill morning. Been listening to music. I actually been playing a little bit of my shit unreleased and trying to get motivated to make.
He lived a life,
stuff.
You know what I'm saying? He lived a life.
Absolutely, he was living his best, and just hard times took over.
That's what we all strive to do is just
a young man
live a life.
Soon, and it's a tragedy. It's a burden that I carry. I'm sure it's going to be a blessing soon. Hopefully, it's just another angel on my shoulder.
Was he a Jones? Olsen?
Yeah. He was a Jones, actually.
Beautiful.
Or he actually might have been an Olsen. I think I'm the only Jones, actually.
But you're an Olsen.
I am an Olsen, soon to be removed.
Wow. You have anything to say on that? Because the name is...
Sometimes parents aren't your best friend, and honestly, sometimes they could be your worst enemy, but it's a fine line sometimes between love and hate, and you just gotta know how to handle it. Actual, film not being cameraman, but being in.
Well, you're a star. You're a star of that second picture, that sophomore film.
I definitely am.
You're the first shot of the movie. The movie starts, and it's literally you right there.
It's me. Absolutely.
The movie starts as black, or it's not black. It starts on these book-like, because I was inspired by chapters and this way of constructing a story and separating it through this. Well, there was narration, but I didn't mean to say narration. This way of, how the movie is, And then it cuts to you are the first. You're the first thing that pops on screen besides this beautiful landscape that you provided, that location.
Absolutely, that was the first scene. It was great. That was an amazing film for real, and I can't wait to learn more about this next one. I can't wait to see the ideas and the scripts, and I'm definitely I'm gonna make the time to be out there for a while to make that happen.
Yeah, the movie, let's just say one more thing before we close off this. One more thing. No, that's it, really. That was it. That was perfect.
Absolutely.
But
2028, be ready.
And you might say, oh, that's a long time from now. But I remember being in 2023, writing down my next movie, which is coming out just in a few months, and thinking, wow, I was telling my brother, wow, this is so many years away. I was telling my therapist and at the time, I was saying, wow, this is years away. It doesn't even feel real. Like, how am I writing this down? This is actually going to happen. And now it's like a blink of an eye later, June 30th, the start of production. Can't give away the title yet, saving that for a more special date. But yeah, time, it flies. It seems cliche, but...
Absolutely.
I was 16 years old, talking to my brother about... He was telling me the Hulk. And now I'm going to be 19 years old. And the sadness that I have to carry because of that project, like just that whole, it's a memory for sure. It's just, to say the least, it's just a memory that will be remembered. So, but to go back to something you were saying that I didn't write down originally, but I'm thinking now, I feel business partners, and this is your episode, I feel like that's such a huge part of our history.
Absolutely.
To where I feel like that could be a whole section.
Dude, Business Partners was crazy. Not even, and it's like, honestly, like, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because my craziness of it doesn't even come from the film, although it does, but it's not.
If you haven't seen the movie, pause this video right now and watch it.
Absolutely.
Business Partners 4422 came out. 4422.
Absolutely. Like, that.
My second movie, two is 4.
Being created, but more of the creation of the film itself was just an absolute journey, because before we even started making it, we were documenting the whole idea of it, and then we're like promoting it. We were making flyers. You were making flyers, and we were posting them up all over our high school, making sure everyone saw it.
We were talking to the principal himself was taking down all the flyers. We were recording him, asking him, what does it mean to make a good movie?
Absolutely.
And we have it all on footage coming. I'd say coming soon, but not coming soon.
And it's just an amazing opportunity to have done that. And it's just the whole making of the film was
controversial.
It's like more, I don't even know, like memory, it's more than a memory for real, because that's like a whole chapter for real. That's a whole chapter of my life. That was like a 4-month project for real. Like beyond filming, just talking about it, you know, like it was like this whole.
Yeah, and before that, I had been writing it since I was like
absolutely like
12 years old.
Back to you saying the 2028 film is so far away. Like you got to think, like how young were you writing about
Business Partners? The words business partners comes from me and my brother. We were sitting down at a diner styled restaurant, right, with one of those with those puffy chairs, right, and we're sitting down, and I don't know about but I'm definitely inspired by the movie that really started it all for me, Pulp Fiction, when I was 10 years old. And I seen that, and I was thinking, oh, these two guys, you know, like these cool guys, you know, they have guns and stuff, you know. I was thinking that in my head, yeah. And they're in suits. And they're in fucking suits, dog.
That stands out so much. And then they switch from black and white in that, yeah?
The black and white, that didn't come until later, but I'll tell you where it started, though. I'm telling you where it all started.
But it did do it in but they did do it in
Pulp Fiction I didn't get the black and white, an idea for the switching of coloration in the picture comes from later when I was around 12, 13 years old, and I found out one of my second favorite director, now maybe even my first favorite director, Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson. What did he make?
I mean, a highlight that you might remember is, you know, he's never made one of those tentpole films, that's what they call it, when it's so, but he's just one of my favorites. The Grand Budapest Hotel, have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But it goes back to the original concept of Business Partners. Wasn't Business Partners, it was Business Partners 101. I'm serious. That what it was. That's what it was, bro.
Absolutely, because it was absolutely a breakdown of what happened and why they became, everything happened.
I just thought that was a cool title. I wrote it down on a notebook, the front of it. Wrote down the script. Right. But you got to think about the whole movie. It was a completely different movie. Business Partners is the one story I wouldn't even say movie, but story, because it's first and foremost, it's not a movie, but it's a story.
Absolutely.
And it's the one that has changed and morphed and evolved. Like, it's like those picture books where it starts, you know, those funny books where it starts as like a animal and turns into like a person, like this crazy, like changing every on the front of the book. That shit is so funny looking. That's really what it was. I mean, to be able to talk about it, it might take up, you know, a while, but we got some time, you know, because it really went from here to there, I'd say. I mean, I remember when I was actually blonde, and the character was called blonde because I was actually blonde, and I was gonna be blonde in the movie. I mean, that's just one of those obvious ones to say. But before that, you know, Business Partners 101, the title, or the idea of the runtime. I mean, originally it was gonna be I'd say a longer movie. I mean, I was a very ambitious kid when I was like 11, 12 years old. I was thinking it could be like 2 hours. It wasn't until I got older I had to reposition myself and think, yeah, the reality and how am I going to do this? I have no money. I had to quit my job. I looked directly in my boss, or it wasn't even my boss, just one of the people there. I said, bye. He was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm quitting. And in my head, when I did it, I thought it was going to be like this crazy moment, like maybe like a movie, like the one I was quitting for. But it really wasn't. Right. He was just like, oh, okay. And then I just walked out. So I was like, oh, that was a bit anticlimactic. But then we went on and made, you know, the rest
this amazing film.
The rest was history. It was a short film, and I'm excited to finally, and I was excited to finally showcase a November 17th production feature or a runtime narrative that goes longer, you know, because there's this thing where it holds you and it locks you in, where they're sitting down and you have total, it's like a puppet show. You have control of them and they're watching your piece or your movie or your anything. And it's, you know, it's the best feeling.
Absolutely. That's what I mean about it's just so much more than a film. And I feel like we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this live, but we were talking about how it's different from being a viewer's standpoint because you're only able to see so much and feel so much. Even though you're definitely feeling it, that's the whole point, is the emotion you get from it. But like when you're just a viewer, you'll never really fully grasp the entire beautiful.
It goes into what I said earlier. It's escapism. It's supposed to be a moment where you forget, oh, my left ankle knee has this hurting thing, or oh, I have this bill to pay, or oh, this girl doesn't like me. Where you can just, for a second, no matter how long it is, just be in this different world where you're able to just be happy and experience. That's why I always say experience, that word. I love it so much. Because if you're not experiencing it and you're still thinking, oh, about my mom or my grandma who thinks I'm going to be nothing, you know, the whole point is that you are in it, and when you're in it, you're almost nowhere. Like the ending of Knife Love Sex Rock, you can't even explain it. My fourth movie, it's one of those things where sometimes it's just like really nothing. Like it's some things you can't explain, and it's just the true power of being there.
Absolutely.
Because once it's done, it's over, and you're somewhere else. And if you wanted to be there, then okay. But I want to be here.
And it like snaps you back into reality.
I want to be here. You know, it snaps you back into the reality. That's a cool word.
Reality is a crazy word.
Yeah, because it divides itself from fantasy and from Odyssey in this experience. I just said it again, but that you can have, and it goes so deep. It's like a rabbit hole, you know, to where, yeah, it'll feel like you're snapped back and jolted to this.
Absolutely.
But I'm trying to think. Maybe that we can get into another topic I've got written down. I've got
Yeah,
another
absolutely.
topic written down right here. Let's look at all of this right here. I mean, we've had some pretty ferocious conversation, to say the least.
Bro.
Let's just talk about you for a second. Is there any projects or work that you would like to highlight when you get the chance, as you get the chance right now?
As of right now, I'm thinking of just hopefully making some really good music, actually. I'm thinking a lot of ideas. I've been listening to a lot of songs and lots of inspiration, just trying to figure out. I don't want to copy anybody, so I don't want to copy like anybody's flow. And as someone who usually focuses on more of the sound, now focusing on lyrical aspects of what people say and the whole idea of it, it's a lot. And I'm hoping to put out my first album coming soon. I don't know how soon, so don't worry about that. But
I wish I could play a sound bite, like a button, I press it like an explosion. Like you heard those like old traps, it's like when they press the button, it's like a crazy explosion
it's like
sound.
a soundboard.
Yeah. I just felt that shit right now. That was crazy.
But like, it's just like I'm gonna be hopefully making some new stuff, becoming something different. Obviously, stay making money, smoking weed.
You heard it here first. I mean, just heard it right here. Mr. Blunt, new album, coming soon. We're about 2 hours into this now, and I'd say the only thing left right here is this topic I've got about money laundering and the implications of where is it all going. You look at something like the debt rate of the national debt, reverse those words, of the USA, where it's going in the trillions. If you're looking at something like 9/11, which we're not going to get
we're in debt.
Conspiracy about 9/11, but a day before the attacks and bombings on the Twin Towers, there was government congressman, I forgot his name, but he was saying trillions, simply faded, trillions of dollars missing and needing to be, and failing to be audited.
Absolutely.
I mean, what does that
insane.
even mean? You know what I mean? Trillions of, you can't even, it doesn't even, it is insane.
It doesn't just disappear.
It doesn't not just disappear, but you can't even wrap your head around it. Or even imagine $1 trillion. If $1 trillion in cash was stacked up physically, I know this, I've seen it represented to scale, it would be bigger than an NFL football field and taller than at least like 8 feet tall, volume wise, of just hundreds of dollars of bills. I mean, that doesn't just, I mean, maybe we're giving it to Ukraine or the Israeli and Jewish people that are bombing children in hospitals. They're taking, there's rubble, dirt piles, and they're getting bodies out of it.
They're not even sending it to their governments or their people. They're sending it to their leader, who they're trusting to provide it to their people. We also sent like $1 million worth of condoms to them.
Holy fuck.
Mm-hmm. Condoms, bro.
Condoms.
While their houses are being blown up.
And they're in drone fire. There's these drones. I see video. They're sleeping. They're so tired. They're awake for 24 hours every single day in hostile enemy territory. And they're being blown up by these drones they can't even see. And it's like a click of a button. You can't even hear it. And it's just death. You know, you're watching it from
the whistle. You just hear the whistle.
Or you see a GoPro-like POV footage where it's a
I know exactly what you're
soldier
talking about. I've seen it.
in a house, and the house gets bombed, and he runs out of the house, and he gets shot. Or the reverse of it, where there's the guy, and he's walking down, and he fucking throws a bomb in the house, and then the guy runs out of the house dying, and he shoots him. And then he drops his gun, drops his knife, and then it's a hand fight. And you see them talking to each other. The translation of the language. He's saying, "Don't kill me." He's saying his mother's name. You know, it's horrifying to watch. He's calling out to his mom's name as he's there dying. Breathing out his final breaths. Just begging this guy to... He knows he's going to die. He's not even telling him not to kill him. He's just telling him to just give him at least mercy. And this is happening right now. I'm not talking about a story from 50 years ago or 100 years. This is happened. Like, it's happened right now. And it's going to happen even after the video is done.
And it's tragic. So much is happening in this world right now.
So much.
And it's almost like none of us... It sucks because we are honestly, back to it, we are viewers of what's happening for real, because we have no full control of it.
Well, we as in me and you, no.
Exactly, me as in me and you. But maybe someone listening.
But we as in the human race, definitely not.
Yeah.
Have you seen, when I was still in school, this happened. There's this guy. There's a story. It's a bit old, but it doesn't matter how old it is. Because it's not old. It's literally 2024, 2023. A man, Ginger, walks in front of a embassy or a city hall or something, kind of building like that. Takes out a lighter. One of those, not a Bic lighter, one of those Zippo lighters to where you flick it and it stays lighting to where you don't have to hold it. Lights himself on fire with gasoline. Puts his phone on his tripod like how I did on the NYC live show. One of those little tripods. He stands in front of it and is screaming, "Free Palestine." And you see his body completely erupt in flames. He's screaming the top of his lungs. You hear in his vocal cords the difference of the screaming of him screaming before the fire completely erupts and detonates his nerves. And the screaming after. It is truly gut-wrenching and terrifying. It's a reality that people are not seeing and hearing about. They just like to think, no, the whole world, the singularity, the whole world's nothing. This is real-life Minecraft where it's all just... everything doesn't matter and God's not real. And when it's take it over right here.
It's just that everyone thinks it's a beautiful world.
They're at the beach.
And there's so much behind the curtain,
They're at the beach and they don't realize they can get eaten by a shark.
Absolutely. There's no matter what, no matter when, no matter how safe you think you are.
Just the other day, a month ago or something, I saw this lady. She got her, not in real life, but video online. This lady, she got her whole chunk of her leg bitten off by a shark.
Exactly.
And it was a clean bite to where it was like you could see that almost like the silhouette of where the leg should be or the missing piece should be, and it simply was just not there. It was gone. And I don't know where it went, if it was in the shark's belly or
Shark
I don't know.
It. That's crazy for real. No, for real. You know, at one point,
You know, on a lighter
in
note,
2018, vending machines were killing more people than sharks.
wow. Vending machines.
Vending machines killed more people than sharks.
That makes me not want to buy something from a vending machine.
But isn't that, this is like, you think like, you really would think like you're safe in the ocean if you do, and then you get eaten by a shark. It's crazy, but I want, like, you know, think like, you're just
No, I
trying
know
to
what
get
you're
a
saying,
snack.
though, for sure, for
You're
sure.
just trying to get a snack, and all of a sudden you're dead.
Whoa. Now, that's not what I was thinking.
You know?
But imagine
you're
that.
in the ocean, you kind of know the risk, but you're just trying to get a soda. You're trying to get your bag of chips, and all of a sudden you're dead. Getting crushed by a vending
I don't know
machine,
why I'm laughing.
getting shocked by a vending machine, whatever it is.
I don't know why I'm like hysterically laughing and trying to hide
Elvis
it.
died while taking a shit. Your most vulnerable moments, bro. And you could die. Your most comfortable moments you could die at.
Yeah,
And they
you know,
tried blaming it on constipation. You know they tried blaming constipation on Elvis' death. Not the fact he drowned in his own vomit.
holy fuck. That's something where it's like Elvis's fall from grace, the king of rock and roll, to the king, or whatever his final moments, you know, it's very depressing, but it's almost it's a cliche,
Absolutely.
as in, you know, it gets the best of him. It gets the best of him.
Bro, it does. Like, no matter, you gotta think about that. It's same, it's kind of like the whole idea of, like, driving, too. One of the things I always thought was, it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are, the other person in the other car could be so bad they killed you because they're so bad at driving. You could be the world's best driver, like Paul Walker or whatever.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, great driver. He died. He was a great driver, though. He died in a car accident still. Driving killed him, even though he was a great driver. But like, that's not a good example of
What's sad about that one is that he was in the passenger seat.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend was driving. His good, trusted friend. And they're in this Porsche, right? A red Porsche. Beautiful car. And they spin
Absolutely.
out on this turn on a road. On a sharp turn into a completely straight passage of road. And they lose control. The car completely erupts into flames. And there's people taking videos with their cell phone saying, "Oh my gosh, is that Paul Walker?" You can see, you can look it up online. It's on YouTube.
Death is it's a crazy topic. Because so many points in my life I feel like I've accepted it. And then there's so many other points where I'm like, maybe I didn't. You know? So, and I feel like my whole life, someone's been dying. So it's just always been there. And I always know everyone gets their turn. Bro. Whether you die...
You have to accept it.
Absolutely, but like you said, like whether you die and get put into something else at some point, dude, there's no way we're gonna live. At some point, the Earth is gonna die.
Wow.
At some point, our universe is gonna die. And when the sun blows up, that's the end of our universe, for real. Stars blow up.
The supernova of our solar system.
Absolutely, like you gotta think about that. That happens to other places, and we've never been to those places. What if that was someone's Earth?
You know, because there is places just like this where there's
Absolutely.
trees. You know, a lot of people are thinking of these cyclops like 5-armed beings that are purple. When it's there's places where the mountains look just like these mountains. There's canyons and coastal valleys just like this, green trees, blue oceans,
Absolutely.
maybe even, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, but you can keep going, or we can, I got this topic that it goes into about what it can do positively, because it seems very negative. But for me,
What?
it's like when I know it's over and I look back, or if, because I'll be gone, so I can't look at anything. But the
Right.
ideas of looking back, or people
Your last 7 minutes.
remembering you, or trying to see you as what you were, because that's all you can really do. Or try and piece together a story, or try to something, you know. But for me, I never wanted it to be that. I wanted it to be this clear, almost beautiful process, to where it's like in other cultures or communities in different countries, like where it's more accepted and it's not as feared, and it's really embraced, where my kids are gonna know I won't be here, but you'll be able to watch like my movie,
Absolutely.
because
No,
that's
for
really,
real. There's just
that's
like
all
this
I,
whole.
and that's what I was. Because a lot of people think, oh, okay, and that, okay, but that is that, and that's all it is, because I'm gonna be
Absolutely.
gone. So I'm saying the power of what I was, or what I was doing, or what,
Absolutely.
the fact that what I was doing even can be tangible, or what's it called? I'm trying to find the perfect word for this to end it off. It can become this real exchange of me and you, to where even if you're gone, you're forever.
Absolutely. You are forever.